Welcome to the White Knight Theater. In a one-on-one confrontation, the perpetrator's defensive wounds would definitely be larger than the cut on OG's left hand. See that? The type and size of this shoe print are clearly different from the others. Wong let it come quickly. According to the law, detectives need to obtain a search warrant before entering a suspect's residence. In this case, however, the detectives violated this principle, and this decision cast a bombshell into the case. Produced by Himalaya, the 12th episode of the Chinese-American detective Dr. Lee Chong-Yu's crime drama, The Controversial Crime Scene Investigation. All right, let's start the timer and disperse. Relax, just drive at a normal speed. Okay, Dr. Lee, if we want to determine the time it would take to drive from the first crime scene, Nicole's home on Bundy Drive, to OG's place, we should consider the traffic conditions, right? The crime occurred in the middle of the night, so theoretically, there wouldn't be any traffic jams. However, we can't rule out accidents. Today, we can define a most likely time range based on our driving conditions. And this time will also relate to the so-called O.J. Simpson's crime time mentioned by the police. Dr. Liu, are you looking at the materials I just organized? The footprints are the key. Those inconsistent shoe prints need further analysis. They might indicate that the police didn't protect the scene well, causing additional trampling, or they might prove that the perpetrator wasn't alone. If there was more than one perpetrator, then a lot of things would make sense. Let's wait for the news. Actually, there's something else that bothers me. According to the records from the second crime scene, all the valuable clues found by the LAPD were discovered solely by Furman. Is there a problem with that? How many detectives were there at the time? Four experienced detectives went to Rockingham, and all of them were Furman. This is worth noting. Dr. Lee, I think you're overthinking it. Maybe it's because you've been away from the front line for too long, and it feels awkward. When we police investigate a crime scene, everyone has different responsibilities. On site, everyone adjusts flexibly. Some people are responsible for communicating with witnesses, while others mainly search for physical evidence. Furman might just happen to be in charge of collecting evidence. Sam, this isn't about suspecting someone. It's about the professional requirement of always questioning. I know you're a police officer, but we're not involved in this case as a police officer or as some director. I have respect for the police work. You know, I've been a police officer. I know how hard it is and what this job entails. Sam, just focus on driving. I won't say more. We're very important now. We can't afford any accidents. The subtle tension between Dr. Lee Chong-Yu and Sam mainly stems from their different ways of thinking. Dr. Lee focuses more on the logic of low-probability events, while Sam focuses more on the overall progress of the case. Looking back in the last third of this case, reality will teach Sam a good lesson. Now, the most critical, most controversial, and most frequently mentioned moment in American law schools will be shown to Dr. Lee and Sam first. In the early morning of June 13, 1994, after the LAPD confirmed that the female victim at Bundy Drive was O.J. Simpson's ex-wife Nicole, they decided to notify this heavyweight football star immediately. To avoid media attention, the LAPD chose to send someone directly to O.J. Simpson's house to inform him of the tragedy. Among the detectives at the first crime scene, were assigned because of their experience. The younger white detective Furman, who claimed to have resolved a dispute at O.J. Simpson's house 9 years ago, volunteered to lead his colleagues, including Warner, to O.J. Simpson's residence in Rockingham. Here we are. On the right is O.G.'s house. It's truly impressive for a big star. The gate is really grand. What's the use of grandeur? When bad things happen, they don't pick between the poor and the rich. There's a light on in the second floor. Jailing, there should be someone. I'll ring the doorbell. Hello, is there anyone from the LAPD? What's going on? Why isn't anyone answering the door? Maybe they didn't hear it. Let me try. Damn it, still no one. Could something have happened to OJ too? How about this, Wandate? You keep ringing the doorbell, and I'll go around and see if I can find anything. Okay, be careful. According to Furman's description of this operation, while Warner was ringing the doorbell, he walked alone to the driveway beside the gate to check the surroundings. As he carefully shone his flashlight around, he was soon drawn to a white Mustang parked in the driveway. Wang Nate, come quickly. I think I've found something on the Mustang. What did you find? Following Furman's flashlight beam, Warnert saw 5 bloodstains, 1 on the outer door handle of the driver's side door, and 4 on the bottom of the door and above the threshold. My God, this is blood. Someone's been hurt. No one answered the doorbell. It's very likely that OJ or someone in the house is injured. We need to get a search warrant and go in quickly. Furman, you contact the authorities. There's no time. It will take at least 2 or 3 hours for the search warrant to come through. If someone in the house is really injured, they can't wait 2 or 3 hours. So according to you, we just go in directly. That's right. This is a special situation. The key is that the gate is closed. You mean we call in the SWAT team to break down the gate? What if there's no emergency? I have a way. It's up to whether we want to go in directly. What is it? Climb over the wall? So, without obtaining a search warrant, Furman climbed over the wall into O.G. Simpson's private residence and opened the gate for Warnert and the others. The rationality of this action was also repeatedly discussed in the subsequent trial of the entire case. The famous Fourth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution explicitly states that the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated. No warrant shall issue, but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. The Western proverb that a man's home is his castle, where the wind and rain may enter, but the king cannot, is specifically implemented in the Fourth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. After understanding Furman's rationale for this action, Dr. Lee Chong-yu and Sam had another disagreement. Dr. Lee, where did you see that? Detective Furman and his team decided to climb over the wall into Simpson's house. In an emergency, this choice is understandable. At that time, Furman found suspicious bloodstains in the car, and since no one answered the door at Simpson's house for a long time, it was natural to worry that something dangerous might have happened inside. Someone got hurt. Their decision to climb over the wall is understandable, but once inside the residence, once they found out that Simpson and his family were not in danger, they should have stopped the search. After entering the courtyard of O.G. Simpson's private residence without a search warrant, Furman and his team first arrived at the main building's entrance where the lights were on. They rang the front doorbell. After receiving no response from inside the main building, they began to walk around the house and noticed a row of low, flat guest houses to the southeast, connected to the main mansion. Furman peered through the window and saw someone inside. This must be the guest house, he said. Soon, a bare-chested white man with blonde hair opened the door, looking groggy. Hello, we're from the LAPD. Is O.J. Simpson home? Furman asked. I don't know. Is he not here? The man replied, still half asleep. Was there an earthquake last night? I heard a loud noise. Sir, what's your name? Furman inquired, trying to gauge the man's sobriety. Are you sober? Did anything unusual happen last night? My name is Cato Kalin, the man answered, shaking his head. Have you been drinking or using drugs? Furman continued, holding up a finger and asking Cato to follow it with his eyes. This was a field sobriety test. Under the influence of drugs, a person's eyes would involuntarily jerk when reaching the corner of the eye, whereas a sober person's eyes would not. Cato passed the test, and he understood the situation. Furman then asked to see the clothes and shoes Cato had worn the night before. Cato stepped aside, allowing the detectives to enter. The room contained only a bed and a chair, with clothes piled on it and a pair of shoes on the floor. Furman checked them, but found no blood. What's your relationship with O.J.? Furman asked. I'm just a friend. I'm staying here, Cato replied. And you don't know where he is? He took a flight around midnight last night. He should be in Chicago by now, Cato said. With Cato's help, Furman and the others learned O.J. Simpson's exact location and contact information from his daughter Arnell. Since we now have the phone number of O.J.'s hotel in Chicago, let's call and see his reaction, Furman suggested. Wait, what if the call gets leaked? Won't that draw media attention again? One of the detectives questioned. That's exactly what we wanted to avoid by coming here to notify him in person, Furman replied. Are you saying we should go to Chicago to notify O.J. ourselves?